Alright guys, welcome back. What do you think if I had some new hair? My hairline maybe there? Or maybe there? I don't know. We're probably like somewhere around there maybe? The hair helmet. So 2017 F350 Super Duty 6.2. There are not too many universal catalytic converters out here that will satisfy a cat efficiency code on this car. They do sell a cat assembly for this car, but the loading they put in those catalytic converters just is not adequate enough for typically a 100,000 mile engine that is not running at 100% efficiency. So there is a product line that we have that works very well, and we use these for our fleet vehicles, U-Haul style, big trucks and Chevys like that, because they have a cheaper line that just doesn't hold up to the abuse that these bigger cubic inch engines put on the emission system. So I'm going to show you what we're doing here. We're only doing one side on this po420, and I have the old catalytic converter out, all right, and then this is just cut out, and I'm mocking it up. So I had to remove some of the insulation from the front pipe to make this work. No big deal, it was already decaying away, so I have this fitted to the front pipe. We're not going to use the center O2 port on here. You can do what you want. What I like to do is move it to the furthest point in the catalytic converter. If the O2 sensor will reach that far, and you'll see here now it's sampling this whole entire brick. I'm going to show you the cheaper bodies. You didn't want that to happen. Pretty durable product. I'm going to show you the cheaper bodies that don't hold up, although they sell them, and you'll see these in some of these catalytic converter assemblies. She wants you to do this.
Yeah.
I really wasn't ready to do this car because I still have to diagnose the front end. So these here were the ones that they were selling us when the catalytic converter craze was going on from AP exhaust, and they didn't really work. They worked for a little while, but the commercial use fleet vehicles, go ahead, just do it. Make sure it doesn't have air ride. If it has air ride, leave the door open. Those catalytic converters were just to fill a void in product availability, although they were close in what it would take to satisfy an efficiency code, and they just didn't hold up. So then they came out with a next generation catalytic converter, which are the ones that I'm fitting now, and they pretty much satisfy, everything, and they're ridiculously expensive. So let me reshape this since it fell. I can't stand when that happens. I'm gonna make sure it's substrate. And I'm gonna show you that. Let me show you some of this. So if you feel the catalytic converters, these universal cats, if you feel the weight of a catalytic converter, feel like lead shot, and then you feel something similar, the same size, that weighs different. This catalytic converter weighs twice what the cheaper part number is. That doesn't work. And they still sell that wide pipe cat assembly for GMs and Fords. That doesn't work. It will work for a little while, and then your customer will be back. So I'm just inspecting this for clogging. So if you look through this catalytic converter, right, you really can't see any light through it, okay? It's doing its job. It's absorbing and catching, I call it filter, catching, and basically it is a filter. Catching unburned exhaust and fuels and vapors and pollutants, and then it's doing its job converting inside the catalytic converter. This has more precious metals in it, which makes it more efficient and work better for the vehicle. So if you have a 6.2 out there and you're plagued with check engine lights, you have to look at your product line. If you put OEM on there, then you know it's good unless you have a running problem. If you don't correct a running problem or lack of maintenance, then sometimes you're just wasting your money. So let me refit this, since I effed it up. Let's get it back in position. I can't believe it fell out, but that's okay. So I'm going to get it right back in the position that I wanted it in. And then Caleb fixed this welder. So let's reuse this welder. weld this in. All these welders need new tips and contacts. Yeah, all of these need new we need to order new tips too.
New tips and cores.
Yeah, these cones. Yeah, they're all beat.
Yeah.
So we'll get around to that. On the beat too.
Harbor Freight Smith.
Harbor Freight Tackle. So I was just telling Caleb and Jude about somebody who was using a welder was cranking the piss out of the flow rate for the argon, and I said, I told you, I said, you're just pumping my money into the environment. Stop wasting all my argon. And he's like, it wasn't me. I'm like, well, if you're here and your friend or your girlfriend's welding, it's your responsibility to make sure she's not wasting my argon. He's like, okay. So if your argon flow rate's hissing away, ready? Can you hear that? Where's my speaker? Where's my speaker? Hold on, stay with me. If you're here going, ah, you're pissing away your money. Dial it back to what you can successfully weld cleanly with. All right, it's shielding gas. It's not fill the environment gas. So I got this where I want it. Let me slap on a mask. My Harbor Freight mask. Harbor Freight. Everybody's in position. Strike a pose. And it's the same process as the last one. Get as close as you can to 1 o'clock. And burn it in, baby. Trump says drill, baby, drill. So now what you're seeing here is this other metal on the front pipe side is contaminated. So it's probably packed with heat insulation that I trimmed off. So here is aluminum with fiberglass. It's probably on the surface contaminating it, and it wouldn't let me penetrate. So now I'm going to burn through it. So now you can imagine with a guy who doesn't know how to weld old material, how this would look if he had no clue on what he was doing. That's not the case right here. That's why you see so many burnt shit welds, and one, it's the material, the environment, the equipment, and the experience. Burnt shit welds. But you can see here, that looks pretty darn good. And let's let me get this out of the way. I got enough air missing. I'm gonna go here, over top, find my spot. And we're going to try and reach over to 11. If I can't get to 11 o'clock, I'll figure it out on the leak check. You can almost hear it, the contamination, and you can smell it. The fiberglass woven pieces in the mud and the dirt and shit stuck to the metal. Now I could have probably ground that all off with a wire wheel or some other shit that would take forever. We're not doing that. Sorry. It's so important to use good gas and stay on your maintenance and eliminate expenses like this. People say they don't have the time or they don't believe in it. Believe in this when you get the bill for the check engine light. All right, so now we're down to this side. I'm gonna get the oxygen sensor out of my way so I don't accidentally arc it out. Now this is a butt weld. I do these many different ways depending on how I can get it to fit. Butt weld is a stronger weld, in my opinion. And again, it depends on what you're welding. And then I'll show you my weld on this contaminated, dirty material. What I'm doing now is I'm looking through a crack or a spot in the pipe because I can't see above where I'm at. But what I can see is the burn through from the weld. And this ensures that I get 100% on the top where I can't see. This is called the Peekaboo weld, baby. Peekaboo, I see you. And I guarantee, anytime that I do the Peekaboo style, there's never a leak on the top. Because you can see it like a flashlight through the pipe.
Did you see a wheel lock anywhere for this Audi or no?
Negative.
Nice.
They just got the tire off, so I'll tell you somewhere.
Right.
Well, somewhere. Okay, so that's welded in. Let's get the O2 sensor. You're not shocked, are you? With the bullshit?
I mean, a little bit considering the spare on there.
Alright, so now we're gonna get the O2 sensor in. Ow! So hot! Probably like 1,500 to 2,000 degrees. I run it hot, baby. And then these don't have to be super duper tight in here. Just tight. You're so fragile. And do you need to replace your oxygen sensors when you're doing a catalytic converter? They do wear. They do decay. So if it's in your budget and you want to do a better quality job, yes. If not, put them in and have at it. I'll tell you, most of the time when we do these, we don't need oxygen sensors. Most of the time. I'd say 99% of the time we don't need oxygen sensors.
Something like that. Really.
Unless there's a code with a cat efficiency with O2 sensor circuit failures and shit like that.
But a lot of the times those codes don't come together.
Sometimes they don't come together.
90% of the time you'll get a downstream oxygen sensor code for high circuit or something.
And then
You
change the
replace-
O2 sensor.
We'll
and then
change
you'll
the
see
O2
car back
sensor.
for a cat efficiency
A
code.
week later we get that kind of efficiency. Yeah.
That's just because that it's not executing its
Job.
job because it doesn't know what's going on. And sometimes you'll have, both. You'll have cat efficiency and O2 sensor codes. Alright, torque to spec. I still have to put oil in this because I did an oil change, so I'm not going to bore you with the startup. I'm confident I don't have any leaks. Thanks for hanging out.